is data engineering. Okay, and also we'll see like today we'll see what are the curriculum, course curriculum, like what we are going to study, what we are going to learn from these classes, like and also why data engineering needed for current market condition. If you see, uh, ମାନେ data engineering କଣ ପାଇଁ ଦରକାର, and also data engineer main part ହଉଛି ଆମେ Databricks use କରିବା, and Databricks କଣ ପାଇଁ use କରିବା, we have other technologies as well, we have other like platforms, other language, other ways to approach, but why we are choosing Databricks over others, that also we'll see. Okay, so just a second, let me share my screen. Okay, this is fine. Okay. Okay. So basically, first we'll discuss like what is Databricks. Okay, ମାନେ Databricks ଟା କଣ, ମାନେ କଣ ପାଇଁ ଆମେ ୟୁଜ ହଉଛି basically. So ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା କି Databricks କୁ, ତ basically ମୁଁ କଣ କହିବି ନା, so first before going to Databricks, I'll tell like what are the curriculums. Basically ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ basic syllabus ବନେଇଛି. Okay, we can add it like going forward ଆମେ new content ଗୁଡାକ ଏଥିରେ add ବି କରିପାରିବା. Also we can remove that also. Okay, that's up to like basically requirement wise. But basically for data engineering you need Python, that is the mandatory skills. So I am going to teach you each and everything about Python, and also like SQL also it is mandatory. Like basically RDBMS we are going to use, so that is also needed. Then after these two things, these are the prerequisites we can say. Then after that, I'll teach you what is PySpark, basically Spark concepts, PySpark, because PySpark is the main heart of the Databricks. Okay, so because this by default Databricks is using Spark, so basically Spark for concepts and PySpark how we are using. And then we will move to the Databricks. Basically Databricks ଗୋଟେ platform, ସେଟା ଆମେ କେମିତି use କରିବା, କଣ use କରିବା, so that is nothing but a Databricks. Okay, then ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା କି like other things, ଯେମିତି ଆମେ ମାନେ projects କେମିତି କରିବା, ଗୋଟେ real time ରେ application ରେ ଆମେ କେମିତି କାମ କରିବା, what are the things we need to check. So these are the things we will see in our overall like training period. Okay, so first ମୁଁ କହିବି Databricks ଟା କଣ, then and କାହାର ବି କିଛି doubts ଯଦି ଥିବ, okay, once I complete it you can immediately ask me. I'll also give you some time to ask me the questions or doubts so that you can clear out doubts. Okay, so Databricks is like, it's a data and AI platform that helps user to process, store and analyze the data. Okay, so basically what example ଦଉଛି, like real time, in real time what we are doing, we are simply storing the data. କାହିଁକି ନା ଆଜିର today is 2025. So in 2025, if you will see, everyone is using data. ଆମେ ଯେତେ ବି social media use କରୁଛେ, ଯେତେ ବି ଆମେ data processing କରୁଛେ, products use କରୁଛେ, ମାନେ ବହୁତ ସାରା e-commerce sites ହେଇଗଲାଣି, ବହୁତ ସାରା ଆମର ମାନେ health care site ଯେମିତି ହେଇଗଲା ଆମର ମାନେ MedPlus ହେଇଗଲା, Netflix, ବହୁତ ସାରା ଏମିତି sites ହେଇଗଲାଣି. So people are using digital media ଏତେ strong ହେଇଗଲାଣି, we are everywhere, we are using data. So basically ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଏତେ ଯୋଉ ଡେଟା ଅଛି, ତ ତାକୁ ପ୍ରୋସେସିଂ କରିବା, ତାକୁ ମ୍ୟାନେଜ କରିବା, ତାକୁ ଆନାଲାଇଜ କରିକି ଗୋଟେ ଆଉଟପୁଟ ଦେବା, ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ କଣ କରୁଛେ, କିଛି ବି ୟୁଜ କରୁଛେ ଡେଟା, so we are simply pressing the data, like we are simply using any application and trying to fetch the data. Okay, and data we always expect ki data should get fetched immediately. ଆମେ ସବୁବେଳେ ଚାहे କି no, ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସ୍କ୍ରଲ କରୁଛେ, କିଛି ବି ଇନଷ୍ଟାଗ୍ରାମ ହଉ କି କିଛି ବି ଆମେ ସାଇଟ୍ ବି ୟୁଜ କରୁଛେ, ଆମେ ଚାହୁଁଛେ everything should be done easily and it should be fast. So see fast କେମିତି ହବ, ବେସିକାଲି ଦ ଡେଟା ପ୍ରୋସେସିଂ ଯଦି ଫାଷ୍ଟ ହବ, ସପୋଜ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କଲେ, ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବ ଗଲେ, ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବରେ ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କଲେ ପର୍ଟିକୁଲାର କଣ୍ଟେଣ୍ଟ, ତ ସିଏ କଣ କରୁଛି ନା, ଯାଇକି ସେଇ କଣ୍ଟେଣ୍ଟଟା ଆମର ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରୁଛି, ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବର ସର୍ଭର ଯୋଉଠି ରହିଲା, ଯୋଉଠି ଡେଟା ସବୁ ଅଛି, ସେଠି ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରୁଛି, ତ ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରୁଛି କି within a fraction of seconds it will give you the output. Okay, so how it is going to possible, because we have to build, we have to store the data in such a way that it can fetch the data immediately, fetch your results immediately, and it will give you the results. So basically that's why like we are using Databricks. So Databricks basically ଆମର କଣ ହଉଛି, ଗୋଟେ platform. Okay, it's a platform that helps user to process and store, analyze their data. So everything can be done in a ଗୋଟେ platform ରେ. Platform basically like if you are something about C++, like ଯେତେବେଳେ ତମେ ଗୋଟେ କିଛି run କରୁଛ, what is where you are running your codes. Okay, so basically see ଯେତେବେଳେ use କରୁଛ, see there are multiple compilers are there in which you can run your code. Okay, so similarly ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ଲାଟଫର୍ମ କୁହାଯାଏ ଯୋଉଠି କି ଆମେ ଆମ କୋଡ୍ କୁ ରନ୍ କରିପାରିବା, କୋଡ୍ ପାଇଁ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଡେଟା ଷ୍ଟୋର କରିପାରିବା, ସେ ଡେଟାକୁ ଆମେ ଫେଚ୍ କରିପାରିବା। ସୋ ଏଭ୍ରିଥିଙ୍ଗ ଏଟା କମ୍ବାଇନ୍ ଯୋଉଗୁଡାକ ହେଲା that is nothing but a platform. So basically Databricks ହଉଛି ଗୋଟେ platform जो platform रे we can process the data, we can store the data, we can analyze it, we can share it, everything we can do. Okay, so that is called a Databricks. এটা ଗୋଟେ platform and ସେଥିରେ ଆମେ ୟୁଜ କରୁଛେ ନା Apache Spark and Delta Lake. Basically ଆମେ କଣ କରୁଛେ ନା suppose data ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ okay, so basically data ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ place ରେ ରଖିଲେ, okay, we need to run it, right? We need to run it, we need to execute it. So basically ଆମେ କେମିତି execute କରିବା by using Apache Spark. ओके एंड स्टोर कोठी करिवा डेल्टा लेक। सो बेसिकली टू थिंग्स इज नीडेड जेबे भी जहां भी हो माने जेबे भी हमें मेन दी डेटाबेस पढुचे कि इट कैन बी एनी अदर लैंग्वेज। सो टू थिंग्स इज नीडेड, वन इज where we want to store our data, where we want to store our data, and next thing is where we want to how, like where we want to run our code so that we can fetch the data, so that we can analyze the data or write the data. So any kind of data manipulation we can do. Okay, but we just need to know like ame see data jinso mostly important. Basically the second point jodi dekhibo, it is built on Apache Spark and Delta Lake. Okay, so basically it is built on Apache Spark and Delta Lake. So Apache Spark hochi Databricks ର ଗୋଟେ part, means it's you can say it's a heart. So basically Spark engine ରେ ଆମେ କଣ କରୁଛେ ନା Databricks କୁ run କରୁଛେ, Databricks କୁ ଆମେ Spark engine ରେ run କରୁଛେ and we can use that one. Okay, and Delta Lake ରେ କଣ କରୁଛେ ନା it's a storage, ଆମେ storage data ଟା କୋଉଠି store କରିବା, that's a Delta Lake. Okay, so you just try to familiar with these terms, Spark on Delta Lake on. Going forward, whenever we will see like the we'll go deep dive into this Spark and Delta Lake, you can easily understand. Just get familiar with these terms so that you can cope up at that time. You can easily understand that yeah, this is one kind of term we learned during our first class. Okay. Then it's a data warehousing machine learning web-based platform developed by the creators of the Spark. So basically ଆମେ କଣ କରିବା ନା ଏଟା ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ଲାଟଫର୍ମ, ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ଲାଟଫର୍ମରେ we can do many things. ଯେମିତି ମୁଁ କହିଲି we can run our code, we can store our code. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କଣ କରୁଛେ ନା ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟରିଂ, ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟରିଂ ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପଢିବା ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟରିଂ ମାନେ କଣ, ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ଡେଟା ଆସିଲା, ସୋ ବେସିକାଲି ଆମର କଣ ହଉଛି ନା, ସୋ ଡେଟାବ୍ରିକ୍ସ ରେ ଆମର ମେନ୍ କାମ କଣ ହଉଛି, ଦେयर ଆର୍ ମଲ୍ଟିପଲ ୱାର୍କସ୍। ଯେମିତି ଆମର କଣ କହିଲେ ଡେଟା ଗୋଟେ ମେନ୍ ପାର୍ଟ ହଉଛି ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜେକ୍ସନ। ଓକେ, ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜେକ୍ସନ ରେ ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟରିଂ ଗୋଟେ ପାର୍ଟ। ସୋ ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜେକ୍ସନ ମାନେ ସପୋଜ ଆମର डिफरेंट सोर्सेस ऑफ डेटा अछि। ओके, सपोज कोन अछि ना हमकु गोटे माने सपोज हेल्थ रो गोटे हेल्थ केयर गोटे नै जिबा, तो हेल्थ केयर रे कोन होछि ना, सपोज यू आर यूजिंग मल्टीपल लाइक एप्लीकेशंस फॉर ऑर्डर मेडिसिन जो ऑर्डर करा होछि ना, तो मल्टीपल साइट रु लोको माने मेडिसिन ऑर्डर करछन्ती। ओके, बट हमकु से डिटेल्स दरकार लाइक को डॉक्टर सॉरी को पेशेंट को प्लेटफॉर्म रु हमरो मेडिसिन ऑर्डर करछन्ती। सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल आमे यूज करले तीनटा, वन इज नेटमेट्स यूज करले, देन मेड प्लस यूज करले और हमें फार्मिज यूज करले, तीनटा आइ गला। ओके, सो बेसिकली हमरो सोर्स हला तीनटा, तीनटा जगह हमें डेटा फेच करबा। ओके, सो हमें कोन करबा ना तीनटा प्लेसेस रो हमें डेटा फेच करले, से मे बी एनी माने से डाटाटा से माने जोट भी स्टोर कर डजंट मैटर, बट हमर मेन पर्पस होची हमें तीनटा जगह रो डाटा तीनटा सोर्स रो डेटा फेच करबा। ओके, डेटा फेच करले फाइनली हमें कोन करले ना सब जाक डेटा एते हला फेच करले। जानथियो सब जाकर जल एप्लीकेशन जदी भी समस्त यूज करथिबो तीनटार नेटमेट्स हो कि मेट प्लस हो, समस्तकर यूआई डिफरेंट, समस्तकर टाइप रो डिफरेंट। सो बेसिकली यूआई जदी डिफरेंट अछि तो डेफिनेटली डेटा फॉर्मेट भी हमर डिफरेंट होबो। ओके, सो बेसिकली हमें मल्टीपल सोर्सेस रो डेटा फेच करी गोटे जगह रे सब जाक मिक्स कर देले। ओके, देन ताको कोन करला ना, नाउ एबे डेटा कोन हला, डेटा गोटे आसला नेटमेट्स रो, गोटे हला मेड प्लस रो, गोटे आसला हमर फार्मेसी रो। ओके, तो डेटा जल आसी गला तो डेटा रो फॉर्मेट टा बे केमति रहबो, डेफिनेटली इट इज गोइंग टू बी डिफरेंट। तीनटा रो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट माने ऑब्वियसली दैट इज गोइंग टू बी डिफरेंट। ओके, so in that case what we have to do is we have to clean the data. Okay, बेसिकली से जो क्लीनिंग करूचे डेटा आउ से जो डेटा प्रोसेसिंग करूचे, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करूचे गोटे क्लीन फॉर्मेट को, दैट इज नथिंग बट कॉल्ड एज अ डेटा इंजीनियरिंग। बिकॉज से जो क्लीनिंग पार्टा होची कि ट्रांस लाइक किसी भी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करूचे कि किसी भी करूचे, दैट इज नथिंग बट अ डेटा इंजीनियरिंग. ओके. ओके, सो बेसिकली ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द डेटा इंजीनियरिंग. एंड आमे डेटा इंजीनियरिंग ही आमे डेटाब्रिक्स यूज करछो. ओके, so it also overall, like you can say that it's a overall, like from high level you can understand what exactly we are doing. I mean, then the example daily real time, from the three sources we are getting the data. थ्री सोर्सेस रे हमें थ्री तीनटा एप्लिकेशन हमें तो डेटा फेच करूचे. डेफिनेटली डेटा फॉर्मेट हमर डिफरेंट रहिथिबो, डेटार कंटेंट डिफरेंट रहिथिबो, सब कुछ डिफरेंट थिबो. ओके, बट हमकू से डेटा को क्लीन कर अछि टू मेक ए सिंगल फॉर्मेट. गोटे फॉर्मेट रे हमकू कन्वर्ट करियार अछि. लाइक सब कॉलम टा सेम डेटा रहिथिबो, सब डेटा डेट टाइप सेम रहिथिबो, सब कुछ डेटा सेम नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स रहिथिबा दरकार. सो सब कुछ हमें डेटा को क्लीन करिवा. फाइनली हमें डेटा को कोन करिवा ना किसी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करवा, लाइक से डेटा रो किछि गोटे न्यू कॉलम क्रिएट करवा, किछि भी इंफॉर्मेशन हमको दरकार. सो सेही प्रोसेस को हमर कोन कहौ छी ना डेटा इंजीनियरिंग. ओके, जहा द्वारा कि हमें कोन करछे ना डेटा को फेच करले मल्टीपल सोर्सेस रु, एंड ताकू क्लीन करले, क्लीन करिकी प्रोसेस करले, फाइनली गोटे आउटपुट जोठी भेला को गोटे सोर्स को हमें ट्रांसफॉर्म कर देले. ओके, मींस को गोटे प्लेस रे हमें ताकू सेव कर देले. ओके, जोठी कि हमें एठी हमें डेल्टा लेक यूज करछे. डेल्टा लेके हम कोन करछे ना हमें ताकू स्टोर कर देले डेटा. सो ये जो कंप्लीट प्रोसेस कहली, दैट इज नथिंग बट अ, दैट इज द प्रोसेस ऑफ डेटा इंजेक्शन वेयर वी आर यूजिंग डेटाब्रिक्स. ओके, तो एथिरे कहार डाउट अछि डेटाब्रिक्स हमें कोन पे यूज करछे. ओके, एंड को प्रोसेस रे यूज करछे, टेल मी. ओके, किछि भी डाउट्स अछि एथिरे बुझियला ना आउथरे बुझेबी और एनीथिंग.
Sir, I have doubt.
ओके ओके.
Sir, what is data injection?
हाँ, डेटा इंजेक्शन. ओके, सो डेटा इंजेक्शन ना गोटे न्यू टर्म जोटा मु कहली, जोटा एक्सप्लेन जोटा मु कहली ना, डेटा इंजेक्शन पर हमर कंप्लीट प्रोसेस टा. ओके, जोटा कि हमर मे बी मोर स्लाइड रे थिबो जदी नो. नो स्लाइड रे मे बी आई फॉरगॉट टू ऐड. ओके, फाइन. एटी मु ट्राई करछि डेटा ये बुझिया पई. ओके, सो बेसिकली मु जेमति कहली तीनटा हमर अछि सोर्स. ओके, दिस इज वन सोर्स, इटा गोटे सोर्स रहिला. ओके, इटा गोटे रहिला हमर अदर सोर्स. तो तीनटा रो हमें डेटा आनिले, एठु डेटा आनले, एठु डेटा आनले, एठु डेटा आनले, गोटे रे हमें स्टोर कर देले. ओके, एठु डाटा जहाँ भी नेला, ए डाटा को हमें नहीं कि हमें क्लीन कले, ये जो प्रोसेस कले एठी हमें क्लीन कर देला. ओके, एठी हमें तो कोन करले ना करबा ना एठी. ओके, एठी हमें कोन करले ना ताको क्लीन कर देले. ओके, क्लीन करी हमें कोन करे ना आ गोटे प्लेस रे
जितेन सर टिके
स्टोर कर.
सॉरी
हम्म.
देशबंधु भाव जो तीनटा सोर्स ना कि तीनटा सोर्स माने एग्जांपल तुम भाव तीनटा टेबल एमपी डीपीटी सेल रेट से तीनटा उ नेकी जितेन सर सेटा कहउछन एग्जांपल भाव.
Yes, sir.
ओके. माने टेबल भी वन काइंड ऑफ सोर्स हे परिबो. ओके, बट बेसिकली रियल टाइम रे जेमु मु टेबल लेवल को जाइनी. ओके, तो मु रियल टाइम एग्जांपल जोटा देली, सपोज हमें एनी काइंड ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट करपे तबले हमें तीनटा सोर्स उ डाटा दउ ना. सोर्स कैन बी एनीथिंग. ओके, जो थ्रू हमें रिलेवेंट डाटा आनुचे, सोर्स कैन बी एनीथिंग. सो बेसिकली तीनटा टेबल रे हमें डाटा आनुचे, ताकू हमें गोटे प्लेस रे पुट करछु. ओके, देन सेटा तो डेफिनेटली हमर से डाटाटा कोन रहितो, सेटा डाटाटा कंप्लीटली हमर बैड डाटा वी कैन से. ओके, कहना डेटार फॉर्मेट डिफरेंट थिबो, डेटा बहुत सारा नल रिकॉर्ड्स थिबो, बहुत सारा जिन माने डेटा टाइप भी डिफरेंट थिबो. तो हमको ताको क्लीन करिकी ताको ट्रांसफॉर्म करिकी गोटे नुवा डेटा को फॉर्म करियार अछि. ओके, देन फाइनली एई जो डाटा को हमें गोटे स्टोर करिबा गोटे हमरे डेल्टा लेक रे. ओके, दा गोटे स्टोरेज करिबा हमर ना डेल्टा लेक रे हमें करिया. ओके, जोटा कि हमर कोन करिया ना ठीक. ओके, डेल्टा लेक रे हमें स्टोर कर देले. ओके. ओके, तो ये जो कंप्लीट प्रोसेस रहिला दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द डेटा इंजेक्शन. ये जो कंप्लीट प्रोसेस रहिला हमर ए टू जेड एटा, ये कंप्लीट प्रोसेस को हमर को होचे डेटा इंजेक्शन प्रोसेस. ओके, ओके एटा होची डेटा इंजेक्शन तो डेटा इंजीनियरिंग रे कोन होची ना ए जो क्लीनिंग प्रोसेस टा कले दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ डेटा इंजीनियरिंग लाइक एठी हमें ए जो क्लीनिंग करछे ना इट लुक्स लाइक ना क्लीनिंग इज ए फाइव लेटर्ड वर्ड बट एक्चुअली इट्स अ बिग थिंग ओके ए क्लीनिंग रे बहुत सारा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशंस बहुत सारा जिंस होची जोटा कि हमें डेटा इंजीनियरिंग एठी यूज करछे बिकॉज़ रीडिंग ए डेटा दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग वी आर रीडिंग द डेटा वी आर फेचिंग द डेटा फ्रॉम मल्टीपल सोर्सेस बट ये जो बैड डेटा को लेके क्लीन करवा ये जो गोटे स्मॉल प्रोसेस रहला ये प्रोसेस टा इट्स अ वेरी इट्स अ हेक्टिक प्रोसेस वी कैन से ओके सो ये जिनस जोटा होची से दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ डेटा इंजीनियरिंग ओके इथरे हमें बहुत सारा टेक्निक्स यूज करूचे बहुत सारा लाइक अप्रोच यूज करूचे टू मेक द डेटा क्लीन so that can be that can be used as a downstream table basically a table ta output table ta amaro next phase जहाँ कि हमारा suppose रहेला machine learning रहेला कि किछि भी रहेला those people can use this clean data because data clean हेले ही आमे next team ताको use करि परिबे okay so basically the data should be clean ये जो cleaning process टा होची that is called as a data engineering process ये जो process होची that is a data engineering okay ଏବେ ବୁଝିଗଲା ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜେକ୍ସନ କଣ ଏଇଟା କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ ପ୍ରୋସେସଟା ହଉଛି ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜେକ୍ସନ ଓକେ
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay.
ଓକେ ଆଉ କିଛି ଡାଉଟ୍ସ ଅଛି କାହାର କ୍ଲିୟର
Yes,
ଓକେ
sir. Clear.
ओके ओके सो लेट मी क्लीन दिस वन ओके फाइन सो बेसिकली एटा होची हमर एबे बुझिलो डेटा इंजेक्शन कोन डेटा इंजेक्शन रो गोटे क्लीनिंग पार्ट रहउची डेटा हम फेच करूचे मल्टीपल सोर्सेस तापर क्लीन करूचे दैट इज नथिंग बट अ पार्ट ऑफ डेटा इंजीनियरिंग and Databricks we are using for in the data engineering गोटे process okay in that process a process को how can you achieve that process by using Databricks and Databricks uses like Databricks uses this one okay Spark and Delta Lake so basically try to understand the hierarchy so data ingestion gote process hoila inside the data ingestion we are using data cleaning that's a process that is nothing but called as a data engineering jeti ame data engineering use karuche okay and in that data engineering what we are doing basically it's a complete process we can say we can data engineering can be used to data cleaning writing the data reading the data those things that can be called as a data engineering then in that data engineering how to achieve that how to implement that we are using Databricks as a platform to implement that okay and in the Databricks platform uses Spark and Delta Lake. Spark is for the engine basically for processing data processing basically it's a Spark we are using and data storing we are using Delta Lake okay Spark is for data processing and Delta Lake is a storage layer. We can say for storing the data, we are using Delta Lake. And the next thing is it's a data warehousing and machine learning web-based platform developed by the creator of the Spark. Basically, it's a data warehousing and machine learning web-based platform. So basically, हमें पढ़िबा कि Databricks का कौन actually. Basically, এটা data warehousing कौन. Simple concept कह देबी data warehousing. It's a big concept. Okay. So basically, हमें why we choose Databricks. Databricks का बहुत सारा concepts ଅଛି that we will discuss. Then it gives us a flexibility to use data warehousing, data engineer, data science in a single workspace. So it is another advantages of using Databricks. So ଆମର ମେ ବି ଯଦି ତମେ ଏଇ ଟର୍ମ ଟା ଶୁଣିଥିବ ଡେଟା ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ୍ରି ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି Azure ଡେଟା ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ୍ରି ସୋ ଡେଟା ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ୍ରିରେ କଣ ହଉଥିଲା କି just forget about data factory if you don't heard like you are ଯଦି ଶୁଣିନ ଏଟା then that is just forget about it so basically ଆମର previously जो प्रोसेस यूज करा होतला जे Databricks इन्वेंट आसिया पूର୍ବରୁ जो भी प्रोसेस हमर यूज करा होतला सो सेतबेले हम कोन कहतला डेटा वेयरहाउसिंग गोटे सेपरेट टीम डेटा इंजीनियर गोटे सेपरेट टीम डेटा वेयरहाउसिंग हम कोन करूचे ना बेटा हमरो मोस्टली हमरो डेटा क्लीन जो फेच करूचे ताको डेटा गोटे जगह फेच करबा सोर्स को आनी कि डेस्टिनेशन पुट करबा दैट इज व्हाट द वर्क ऑफ द डेटा वेयरहाउसिंग बेसिकली इट्स अ रिलेशनल डेटाबेस ओनली रिलेशनल डेटाबेस कोन जानि छ तो ना किया को जणा नै रिलेशनल डेटाबेस आरडीबीएमएस कोन
Yes, sir. We know, as Susan sir tell us, sir.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so basically RDBMS जेତେବେଳେ ଆମେ data warehousing में only we can process RDBMS like only structural data. But Databricks we can process like any kind of data. It may be semi-structured, it can be unstructured data. So that is the one advantages we are getting from Databricks. Then data engineering and data science. Basically, if you are creating one workspace, बेसिकली आमे कोन करछे ना माने सपोज हमर तीनटा टीम रहि गला ओके डेटा वेयरहाउसिंग गोटे टीम डेटा इंजीनियर गोटे टीम देन डेटा साइंस गोटे टीम ओके सो जदि हमर गोटे डेटा एटा हमर कोन होछि ना फर्स्ट डेटा आसिला डेटा वेयरहाउसिंग टीम डेटा को क्लीन करके हमर डेटा इंजीनियरिंग टीम को देले data engineering team will fetch the data and they will clean the data and they will prepare the final data and that data will be fetched by the data science team so basically it's a pipeline you can say this is the input this will output of data warehouse will be input to the data engineering team output of data engineering team will be input to the data science team so basically in previously what they are using they are simply using the different three different workspaces okay like data engineering team they cannot access the all the data to the data from the data warehousing whatever they are using also data science team they cannot work they cannot access all the features all the data from data engineering team so basically they have to put the data in their location then only they can access okay so that is the like but Databricks gives you one flexibility that everything can be done in a single workspace okay like everything can be done in a single workspace so that is why we are using Databricks so that all the people can work under one workspace basically ଗୋଟେ workspace ମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ environment create କରିବା so that is nothing but a one workspace we can say for example ଗୋଟେ environment okay forget about any workspace. Okay, I'll just discuss this later. But if it is a single environment, you can say in that environment, all the team members can work simultaneously. Okay, with the collaboration of data warehousing and data engineering, data science team, they can collaborate and they can use individuals' data and they can produce the final output. So basically, that is what the meaning is. Okay. So I think you are getting it right. What I'm trying to explain. So basically, what is the Databricks? I explained what is the Databricks. Then what is like just a second. Okay. So what is the Databricks and why we are using that one and what is the advantages of using Databricks? What are the features? All these things I explained. Okay. Any doubts here? Like this thing like everything is under a single workspace these things everyone
बेसिकली डेटा ब्रिक्स एटा माने जेने हमर ओरेकल गोटे प्लेटफॉर्म सेंदी हम डेटा ब्रिक्स भी गोटे प्लेटफॉर्म
correct okay it's a platform yeah in
एंड
Oracle
आल्सो द ओरेकल जेने हमर लीडिंग अच्छे डेटाबेस मैनेजमेंट रे तो
mm-hmm.
सेंदी डेटा ब्रिक्स एटा गोटे ही अच्छे ना मार्केट ना आ कोन अच्छी माने
No, there are many like Databricks was one platform amaro Snowflake achi if you heard of this name Snowflake gote achi okay so similarly there are many okay these are the two important two things like one is Databricks one is Snowflake okay but purpose is different basically these things can be done like basically data warehousing can be done ତା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ separate ଅଛି separate platform ଅଛି data engineering ପାଇଁ ମଧ୍ୟ we can use other okay we can other platforms ଅଛି but there are because ଯୋଉ platforms ଗୁଡାକ already ଅଛି ସେଗୁଡା କଣ ହଉଛି ନା we are facing some problem basically ଆମର data issue ଆସିଲା means data processing ରେ issues ଆସିଲା then ଆମର features ଆସିଗଲା also cost is a first factor also ଯେତେବେଳେ cost ଟା ଗୋଟେ manage ହଉଛି so everybody wants like we always get better output with a layer like lower cost so that is why they are simply using Databricks because Databricks ରେ କଣ ହଉଛି ନା ଦେଖ if we are talking about the cost I told you like initially they are using like three different workspaces data warehousing got a different workspaces ରହିଲା data engineering got a workspace different data science so ତିନିଟା different workspace we have to create so cluster also we have to create separately so cluster ର ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ computation cluster ଯେତେବେଳେ use କରିବା then that will be very costly so but ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଏଇଥି Databricks ରେ each and everything we are using in a single workspace so definitely it is going to cost very less okay cost is the main factor then another thing is the processing the faster like it's a completely 100x faster compared to other process and also like storage basically ଆମେ ଆଜିକା ଡେଟ୍ ରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଡେଟାଟାକୁ ପ୍ରୋସେସ କରିବା ଯେତିକି ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟ ଡେଟାକୁ ଷ୍ଟୋର କରିବା that ବେଶୀ ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟ ବିକଜ like gradually ଯେତେ ବି ଡିଜିଟାଲ ମିଡିଆ ଯେତେ ବି ଇମ୍ପ୍ରୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ହବ we are going to get more and more data Okay, so see data guda how can you process that? Like processing is fine, we are using Spark for processing, but to process that one we have to fetch it, we have to store somewhere. But data storage ଯଦି ଆମେ ଯଦି ମାନେ 100 petabytes or many petabytes ରେ data ଗୁଡାକ ଆମେ store କରିବା, then definitely you know how much cost it will be. Okay, just think about it. So that's why ଆମେ କଣ କରୁଛୁ ନା delta lake use କରୁଛୁ, ଯୋଉଟା କି ଆମର data କୁ compressed manner ରେ means store କରୁଛି. So ଯଦି ଆମେ ମାନେ 60-70% data କୁ compress କରିପାରିବା, so just think about it like how compress and also how much cost we will save. Okay, that will be much more cost effective compared to other systems. So that is why we are using all these things in a single. Okay, so जोटा कि पचारला कि Oracle सहित आउ भी बहुत सारा अछि, similarly Databricks ଆମେ यूज करूचे जोटा कि हमरो better advantage दउछि. That's why most of the companies preferring Databricks. Okay, ए बुझियला?
Yes, sir. Sir, one more question, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, data warehouse and data engineer, data science, तीनटा एटा हम करि पारे Databricks
हम्म
flexible यूज करि पारे. तो
yes.
बेसिकली हमें एबे ये जो टेन्योर रे ट्रेनिंग पीरियड रे हमें कोन सिखिबा सर? एक्चुअली डाटा वेयरहाउसिंग माने सिखिबा, डाटा इंजीनियरिंग कोन सिखिबा एक्चुअली Databricks रे?
ଆମେ ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟରିଂ ଶିଖିବା. ଓକେ, ସୋ ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟରିଂ ଯୋଉ ମୋଷ୍ଟ ପାର୍ଟଟା ଯୋଉଟା ରହୁଛି, ବିକଜ ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟରିଂ ରେ ରହୁଛି ନା ଆମର ଯୋଉ ପ୍ରୋସେସଟା ମୁଁ କହିଲି. ଓକେ, ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ ଡେଟା ଇନଜେଷ୍ଟ କରିବା, ଦେନ୍ ଡେଟାକୁ କ୍ଲିନ କରିକି ଡେଟା କ୍ଲିନ କରିବା, ଦେନ୍ ଫାଇନାଲି ଡେଟାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ଲେସ ରେ ଷ୍ଟୋର କରିବା. ଦ୍ୟାଟ ଇଜ ଦ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ ପ୍ରୋସେସ ଯୋଉଟା କହିଲେ ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜେକ୍ସନ. ସେଥିରେ ଆମେ ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟରିଂ ୟୁଜ କରୁଛୁ. ଓକେ, ସୋ ସେଇଟା ଆମେ ପଢିବା. ବଟ୍ ଡେଟା ସାଇନ୍ସ ଆମର ରହିଲା ମସିନ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ପାର୍ଟ, ଯୋଉଟା କି ଆମର ଡେଟା ପ୍ରେଡିକ୍ସନ କରୁଛେ. ମାନେ ଡେଟା ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟରିଂ ଯୋଉ ଫାଇନାଲ ଡେଟାଟା ଆମେ କ୍ରିଏଟ କଲେ, ଫାଇନାଲ ଡେଟାଟା ବିଲ୍ଡ କଲେ, ସେଇ ଡେଟାଟାକୁ ଆମ ଡେଟା ସାଇନ୍ସ ଟିମ୍ ସେମାନେ ନେଇକି ଦେ ୱିଲ୍ ଗୋଟେ ମଡେଲ ବିଲ୍ଡ କରିବେ, ସୋ that model will predict, that will give you the prediction. Okay, so that is a different part and data ହଉଛି ଗୋଟେ different part. Basically data ଗୋଟେ data fetching part, ଗୋଟେ data warehousing ରେ ଆମେ କଣ କରୁଛେ ନା ମାନେ structured data ରଖୁଛେ. We can process the structured data only. Okay, we cannot process the semi structured unstructured data. But data engineering ଗୋଟେ fetch ଦଉଛି, that is ଗୋଟେ flexibility ଦଉଛି କି that we can use both like structured unstructured semi structured data. So in our training we will be only focusing on the data engineering part. Okay,
Okay, sir.
okay, ଆଉ କିଛି doubts ଅଛି କାହାର ବି? Okay, fine. So we will see like what are the features of Databricks. Okay, okay, so what are the features of Databricks we'll see. So basically one is unified data lakehouse, scalability, collaborative environment. So these are the terms, okay, that might be very complex when you are hearing this, but yeah, I'll just give you some basic things so that you can familiar with all these terms, and going forward whenever I will discuss all these things so that you can recall. Okay, so basically unified data lakehouse, then unified data lakehouse means. Okay, so like other platforms that might focus on either data warehousing data, जोटा कि मैं explain कॉली এটা just now, like they are either focusing on data warehousing or they are focusing on data lakes or Databricks, but Databricks basically combining both. Okay, so basically Databricks and both the things are combiningly we can use it. Okay, and also it's analysis of structured, semi-structured and unstructured data in a single space, जोटा कि मैं just now explain कर ली. Like we can implement structured data, semi-structured data and unstructured data. Okay, then scalability. So scalability is like suppose like why scalability is needed. Okay, so every time like हमें भाबुजे कि like yeah we are getting a small amount of data. For example, I will give you an example of Flipkart. So, okay, Flipkart sales ଯେତେବେଳେ ଚାଲେ, so definitely many people sell, they do the transaction. They suppose for example Big Billion Day that came during during the Dasera time. So during that time, the number of users are 10x or 100x more. Like you have also heard of like during when 12 a.m. night during when started. During that time, the system crashed. Okay, most of the time it happens. So that is because most of the users are trying to access the same platform. Can you please come go on mute?
କଣ ଆଧାର କାର୍ଡ କାଲି 10 ଯିବା ଯାଇକି ଆଣିଦେବ।
जितिन सर कंटिन्यू करंतु।
Oh, sorry. Actually, mute all matter so that movie mute again. Okay, fine. So basically, scalability is like whenever the big billion day, जैसे मैं example दिली, during big billion day, what happens? The number of user abruptly increases. Okay, so during that time, system will not able to cover those. System will not able to process those number of users because there is some limitation everywhere. There is a limitation. Okay, but Databricks has that feature like during this kind of situation, this kind of circumstance, it can scale up. Basically କଣ ହଉଛି ନା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ suppose ଗୋଟେ machine use କରୁଛେ for example your laptop. Okay, ତମେ ଗୋଟେ machine use କରୁଛ suppose ଗୋଟେ ଥରେ କଣ ମାନେ any situation might come like the number of user ବଢିଯିବେ. Okay, abruptly ଯେତେବେଳେ ବଢିଯିବେ ତ definitely your system is not going to perform. Basically system stuck ହେଇଯିବ or system hang ହେଇଯିବ. So in that case Databricks କଣ କରୁଛି ନା automatically it creates it takes it ଏମିତି configuration setup ହେଇଛି କି so that it will take multiple machines like suppose ଆମ requirement ଅଛି ଯେତିକି load ଆସୁଛି ଯେତିକି ମାନେ number of users use କରୁଛନ୍ତି କି ଯେତିକି load ଆସୁଛି based on that ଆମର ତିନିଟା machine ଦରକାର. Okay, ତିନିଟା system ଦରକାର. So database automatically fetch the three machines and it will process the data for you. Okay, this kind of dynamic scalability basically because ଆମକୁ କଣ କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ next ଆମକୁ ଯେମିତି ଆମର ଆମେ manually କରୁଛେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମ process କାମ କରୁନି suppose laptop ରେ ଆମେ କାମ କରୁଛେ ଆମର system କାମ କରୁନି ତ ଆମେ କଣ କରୁଛେ RAM କୁ upgrade କରୁଛେ. Okay, but that we are doing manually. Okay, but that work will be done by Databricks. We don't have to worry about it. Okay, ଆମର ଯେତେବେଳେ ଯାହା process because we are doing our job. Okay, we don't have to worry about it like ଆମର ଯେତେବେଳେ data processing workload ବଢିଲା then we have to take care of it. We have to increase the system configuration. We have to increase this cluster configuration. So we don't have to worry about it for the Databricks. So basically I have mentioned here Databricks easily scales to handle the large volume of data complex workloads by automatically managing compute resources based on the demand. So whenever there is high demand it automatically increases the system basically compute resources. Okay, so compute resources means computers we can say. Okay, so basically it's a term called clusters. So also remember this name, clusters is nothing but a combination of multiple nodes. It's nothing but combination of multiple systems. Okay, ଯେମିତି ଆମର ଗୋଟେ system ରହିଲା that has 8 GB RAM, 512 GB ROM, and then we are using number of cores, it may be 8 or 4. Similarly এটা ଗୋଟେ system ରହିଲା. Similarly Databricks has it's a combination. We can use a cluster. Basically one cluster can have multiple machines like whatever ଯେମିତି ଆମେ configuration କହିଲି ଗୋଟେ machine ର configuration is 8 GB 512 GB. Okay, similar to that we have 8 machines. If we'll combine 8 machines then it will be a single cluster, but there is no hardcode rule. Like I'm giving an example like combination of multiple machines can be a cluster. Okay, cluster can be a single machine, it can be multiple machines. Okay, but that configuration that is completely depend on us how we are going to configure that for our project because everything is costly. Okay, so if you are going to use more number of nodes in a single cluster so definitely you are going to pay more. Okay, so based on that you have to do, but the thing is like scalability. If you are using dynamic thing like dynamically, basically dynamically if you want to use then definitely your like cost will be very less. Okay, so that is nothing but a scalability. Then collaborative environment, like all the things we have collaborative environment. So basically ଆମେ ଏଠି କଣ କଣ environment use କରିବା ଯେମିତି Jupyter notebook use କରିବା ଯେମିତି ଆମର Databricks ରେ already we have the notebooks, then we have a shared workspace, then we have version control. Databricks also it facilitates the collaboration between data engineer. Okay, these things also I have already discussed. This collaborative environments. So basically, multiple team they can work in a single workspace and they can share the data among themselves. Everything they can do. Okay, in this platform. So yeah, so ବୁଝିଗଲା ନା କିଛି ବି doubts ଅଛି scalability ରେ ବୁଝିଗଲା ତ because most of the things are almost I have explained. Only thing is the scalability. That was something new. So ବୁଝିଗଲା Databricks scalability କଣ? और किसी भी डाउट्स अच्छी? ओके ओपन। Is it automatic? Which one? Scalability automatic? Yeah, it is automatic. Automatic in the sense like it is not what automatic, like tomorrow darkar achi the 16 ta system darkar achi, it will automatic, not that like that. Automatic means suppose you have tomorrow means you are setting up the clusters. Okay, in cluster we have multiple machines. Okay, let me give you an example where it is. I'll simply suppose you have similar to 8 machines are there. Okay, I'll take, I'll just take ଏମିତି ଆମର 8ଟା machines ଅଛି. ଓକେ, ଏଇଟା 8 machines ରହିଲା, ଏଇଟା 1 2 3. So 8ଟା machine ମାନେ ଆମେ ଏଟା configure କଲେ while configuring the cluster ଆମେ ଏଟା setup କଲେ like first machine is this. Okay, but the thing is like suppose ଆଜି ଆମର ଗୋଟେ clusters ଆସିଲା ଆମର 8ଟା ଭିତରୁ that will be dynamically assigned. It's not like 8ଟା increase ହେଇଯିବ, no, nothing like that. Okay, so suppose ଆମର workload ଏମିତି ଆସିଲା କି sometimes what happen ଯୋଉଥିରେ ଆମର mostly sales ହୁଏନି. Okay, most of the time. So during that time ଆମର କଣ ନା only ଦିଟା cluster ହିଁ यूज ହଉଛି. ओके सॉरी दिटा नोड ही यूज होची, रेस्ट ऑफ जो 6टा नोड रहिला सेटा आइडियल रहिला ना. ओके, सेटा तो हम यूज करलेनी, बट वी आर पेइंग फॉर दैट. हमें कंप्लीटली जेते बेले भी यूज करछे कंप्लीट 8टा मशीन पे हमें पे करूछे, but workload wise we are using like most of the time almost like can say 10 to 11 months we are using only 2 nodes. Okay, and during 2 months only we are using rest of the full nodes. Okay, because since the time during any occasions or festivals time obviously workload is high, more like more number of users are trying to access the like trying to access that application. That is why. So basically, এই দুইটা ভিতরে like when using these 8 cluster among these 8 number of nodes, we will be that will be dynamic one. So whenever there will be high demand, the number of clusters, these are the available clusters. These clusters will be add up, and this will be going to be used. And whenever there is no need, then it will be reduced. So that what happens? How much you are using? Suppose you are using only 2 nodes, then you have to pay for only for 2 nodes. You don't have to pay for 8 nodes. So that is what the one kind of benefit we can say, right? Okay, another question came. Basically, we can say the cluster is set or compute. Okay, you can ask me. Okay, I have to read it everything. Basically, we can say that cluster is set of compute class resources, configuration, use in run various data routes like. Yes, correct. Okay, basically compute होउची गोटे कोन हमरो combination of गोटे compute माने compute गोटे term सेतेरे हमें how can we compute the thing by using clusters. What is a cluster? Cluster is nothing but a combination of multiple nodes. Okay, एटा गोटे node रहला. Node माने कोन? Simple language you can see that it's a system. गोटे जंदी computer गोटे यूज करछो गोटे laptop that is a node. Combination of multiple systems होउची multiple computers होउची, that's a cluster. Okay, correct. Okay, so that is what we discussed, and okay, let's just clean this one. So basically, before going to this, I'll just talk about like why we need to learn the Databricks. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହିଲେ Databricks ଆମେ କଣ ପାଇଁ use କରିବା, because of this we are using like Spark. Basically Spark ଆମେ use କରୁଛେ because we have to process the large volume of data, large scale of data process କରୁଛେ. Okay, maybe ତମେ ଶୁଣିଥିବ like 10 years back we are using ଆମେ use କରୁଥିଲେ Hadoop system ଆସିଲା, big data processing Hadoop system ଆମେ use କରୁଥିଲେ. Okay, so during that time that is also good for processing like large scale of data processing ପାଇଁ, that is also good. Okay, but why we are choosing Databricks? Okay, because Databricks is there are many advantages of using Databricks, because first thing is like batch data processing ଆମେ କରୁଛେ, but ଏଠି ଆମେ streaming real time data process କରିପାରିବା, we can like in Databricks. Okay, then ଆହୁରି ବି ବହୁତ ସାରା ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି ଯୋଉଟା କି ଆମେ ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କଣ କରୁଥିଲେ ସିଷ୍ଟମ ଯେତେବେଳେ ୟୁଜ କରୁଥିଲେ ମାନେ ସ୍ପାର୍କ ଯେତେବେଳେ ୟୁଜ କଲେ. ଓକେ, ତ ସ୍ପାର୍କ ରେ ଆମେ କଣ ୟୁଜ କରୁଥିଲେ ନା someone pinged, what is this? Okay, fine. Okay, if you have any question, just unmute yourself and ask me. Okay, so ଯେମିତି ମୁଁ କହିଲି okay, Hadoop system was there and also replacement of Hadoop system ଆମେ ଏଠି use କଲେ Databricks ଯୋଉଥିରେ ଆମେ Spark जोटा कि गोटे बहुत स्पार्क आम गोटे कंप्रेस्ड वे यूज कर पारे बिकॉज स्पार्क हूँ ना यहाँ गोटे आमर गोटे इंजिन वी कैन से इट्स इंजिन इंजिन इज बेसिकली इट यूज टू प्रोसेस द डेटा डेटा प्रोसेसिंग करने इंजिन इज स्पार्क इंजिन इज यूज व्हिच इज वेरी फास्टर एंड गोटे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड मैनर एटा प्रोसेस कर डेटा ओके जोटा कि हेडोप रे नहीं एटा माने डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड वे रे प्रोसेस कर माने डेटा को आम डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड वे रे प्रोसेस कर डेटा को डायरेक्टली प्रोसेस करूँ आमे हम निज सिस्टम रे जहाँ भी लिखुचे एठी आमे सिस्टम रे निज आमे लैपटॉप रे कि कंप्यूटर जहाँ भी यूज करछो सेटा हमरे कोन गोटे सिंगल सिस्टम रे यूज करछो सिंगल नोड रे ओके जहाँ भी डेटा आला कंप्लीट डेटा आमे इनपुट देले एंड सेटा में आउटपुट पाइले बट डेट हम स्पार्क रे कोन करछे ना स्पार्क वी आर यूजिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड मैनर लाइक डेटा इज पार्टीशन बेसिकली हम जदी 100 डेटा 100 रोज डेटा अछि आई एम गिविंग वन एग्जांपल 100 रोज डेटा अछि एंड आमर 10टा नोड अच्छी ओके तो आम जो प्रोसेस करुचे आमर 100टा आम निज सिस्टम रे यूज करुचे से 100टा को डेटा 100टा रेकॉर्ड डेटा दैट इज गोइंग टू बी processed inside a single system but in Databricks in Spark what happens that will be divided into 10 parts like 100 divided by is equal to 10 records so each 10 record will be passed to the each node because amara 10 node achi each node will be getting 10 nodes and all the nodes will be processing simultaneously it's a parallel previously like जदि हमरो 10 मिनट देखो जदि previously we are taking 10 100 records processing हम 1 minute लागुची now to process that हमर केते समय लागिवो definitely it will one by like only 6 minutes 6 seconds we can say okay so basically that is the difference like if you can reduce like instead of 60 minutes 60 seconds we can process the data in 66 seconds okay so just see like how fast it is so that is what the advantages of Spark so we'll see like all the things we'll see like but firstly I'll tell you like what I will discuss I'll just try to teach you Python first okay Python is the first thing that from tomorrow I'll just start Python and then because this is completely high level one I discussed okay just the basic things what we are going to learn and all these things and mostly we are going to follow this topic okay mostly we are going to follow this thing just a second no I think I don't have here uh, no okay fine so mostly we'll be talking about this Python introduction then data type then what is the function and arguments modules and packages then flow control then file handling then Python exception handling then NumPy basics pandas basics okay so a ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡାକ ଆମେ ପଢିବା okay I'll cover all these topics and then after that okay I'll start SQL part okay okay or if someone you everybody knows SQL or any also I need to teach that as well I think RDBMS समझते clear right I'll not go into that detail
Sir.
okay okay fine so I'll just give you some basics okay means more specifically topic रे पढ़ाइबेनी so whenever there is a need required okay during the coding or some ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦରକାର I'll just try to remind you that concept okay then we will discuss about the PySpark basically then we will discuss about PySpark okay what is PySpark and Spark ର concept କଣ ଅଛି like basically Spark ର architecture କଣ Spark कौन पे यूज होची and what problems we are facing okay so that we are moving to Spark that we will discuss then ଆମେ Databricks ର पढ़िया once we learn the Spark basically ଆମେ ତାପରେ पढ़िया कि सी PySpark code ଟା कोड रन करिवा where we have to run it okay because that can only be run by using sorry that can only be run by using Databricks okay then ଆମେ Databricks ର पढ़िवा so I'll show you how Databricks looks like okay basically ଆମେ Databricks ଟା କେମିତି basically ଆମର ଆମେ କଣ यूज करिवा ना ଆମେ Python यूज करिवा I'll tell you how to install Python okay that is the first thing then I'll tell you how to for now ଆମେ କଣ କରିବା ନା when Python we will see that we will be using Jupyter notebook, two things. Okay, one is Python ଆମେ use କରିବା, then ଆମେ platform use କରିବା Jupyter notebook. Okay, for your understanding, କାହିଁକି ନା Jupyter notebook is a এটা ଆମର local ଗୋଟେ ହଉଛି ମାନେ open source. Okay, ଯୋଉଠିକି ଆମେ any kind of Python programming interactively ଲେଖିପାରିବା and we can execute it. So these two things are needed. So I'll tell you how to install it and how to utilize this so that you can install it in your system and you can have a hands-on. Okay. Then once I complete this, then I'll just talk about how to use your Databricks. Basically, I'm a community edition ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି Databricks ଆମେ use କରିବା. Okay. Basically, I'll show you like Databricks can be means Databricks community edition, how it looks like. So that just a second, I need verification code. Okay. Okay. So basically, if you'll see, this is the like community edition of Databricks. Okay. Basically, it's ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ଆମର development environment. Okay. Like most of the environment ବି ଏଠି ନାହିଁ କାହିଁକି ନା it's a free version. Okay. Mostly Databricks is a licensed version. Okay. So that's why we don't have that one, but I'll try to utilize all these things for PySpark related codes. I'll be using this, and then I will be using Express Edition for ଆମେ କେମିତି pipeline ଗୋଟେ create କରିପାରିବା and how to implement like in real time ରେ କେମିତି ଆମେ କାମ କରୁଛେ, that I will show you. But for all kind of development, I'll be using this. So basically, what you have to do is I'll tell you during that. Like I'll tell you how to register for this Databricks free, and you can use this one. Okay. So basically, if you'll see now, you have the catalog, we have the compute here. Basically, later देखिए we have the compute. Basically, हमारा compute कौन है? এটা ଗୋଟେ cluster ଆମେ create করছে. Okay. Basically, ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ cluster create করছে. ଆମେ ଯଦି create compute को ଯିବା, so we have some limited options are available here. But ideally, in real time, we have many like there are many options. Okay. So basically, এটা আমার limited option. So that's why like ଆମେ ଏଠି use କରୁଛେ କଣ ନା it's a free version, so that's why we have limited options per configuration runtime. But mostly we'll be using when you will be using the uh, real time data or real time environment, that the options will be different. Okay. So similarly, like this is nothing but the workspace. Basically, I told you what is the workspace. Basically, in workspace you can have multiple things. Okay, you can keep it multiple environments data. Then you can see the catalog. Catalog is basically for data storage, data accessing. Then we have workflows. Workflows is basically it's used for the creating the pipelines. Okay, ଯଦି ଜାଣିଥିବ pipelines କ'ଣ, basically pipeline ମାନେ ଯେମିତି ମୁଁ କହିଲି, one team is fetching the data, one team is executing the data, and that final data of one team is being used by the other team. Then like basically data warehousing, then our data engineering, then data science. So ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର output that is picked up by the next team. Okay. So that is nothing but a pipeline ଆମେ create କରୁଛେ. Like how the data is getting moved. Data ଆମର ଗୋଟେ place ରୁ ଆସିଲା, then ଆମେ data କୁ transform କଲେ, that is one task. Then ଆମେ ତାକୁ data process କଲେ, then ତାକୁ write କଲେ. So this is nothing but a single pipeline. So one by one, the series of tasks is running sequentially. That is nothing but called as a pipeline. Okay, pipeline means there are multiple tasks that is running one by one. That is called as a pipeline. Okay. So basically pipeline रे हमें multiple tasks हमें run करूछे. So we can create multiple tasks. Each task can be of that will represent individual thing and that will run. Okay. So এটা ବୁଝିହେଲା. এটা mostly ଆମେ ଏଟା ମୁଁ discuss କରିବି ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ PySpark start କରିବି. Okay. But yeah, that is fine. Like I'll tell you like how to discuss this and how to use this one. So okay, this is okay. So I'll discuss that like I think tomorrow we'll start the Python, and we'll start Python introduction, how to install, what is Python, what is programming language, all these things we'll discuss. Then we'll see one by one. Okay. So କିଛି doubts ଅଛି ଆଉ କିଛି ବି questions ଅଛି related to ଆମର syllabus?
Yes, sir. I have one question.
Okay, yeah.
There is any topic we'll cover in this syllabus about cloud computing or Azure?
Cloud computing like topics mostly हमें এটা একটা service use করছে. Databricks is used as a service, okay, in Azure. So basically I'll not discuss about topic, but I'll talk about only Databricks, right? But yeah, like Azure, if you want the basics of Azure, then I can take one class and I can explain, but I'll not go into details, okay? Because if I'll start talking about cloud computing, mean that will be another, that's a big task, we can say. So I'll not discuss in detail, but yeah, I'll discuss like how can you create a workspace. Basically, workspace. To understand workspace, I need to discuss something about clouds in Azure, how we are creating the workspace, how we can create suppose you have to create one user or some accessing the data. So these things we need to discuss about the different services. Okay, but mostly I'll not discuss all in detail because it will be again big. Because it will take more time to discuss each and everything.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so basically, what is the difference between Google Colab and Databricks platform? So Google Colab, we can use it. Basically, that's a free version we are using. Okay, but Google Colab, like only your only development purpose you can use. Okay, you can mount your data and you can use it. That's similar to Jupyter Notebook. So you don't have to also use Jupyter Notebook. Basically, Google Colab is a kind of cloud. You have to use your Google Colab. That is from Google's service we are using. Okay, so that we can use it. But mostly the thing is like in Databricks you have multiple things. Google Colab has limited options. Okay, you can do your all development kind of thing you can do, but Databricks you can do development in production activities, basically like real time data, real time processing that you can do using Databricks. But Google Colab has not that much support. Okay, it's only for the development purpose. Okay, and mostly I know like Google Colab I use for data science purpose, for machine learning purpose. Okay, so because you have a Jupyter Notebook for data processing, you don't have to use Google Colab. Google Colab is best for when you are working with some image data or some what we can say some videos data, basically image processing or some live data processing. For in that case, we are using Google Colab, or else it is not needed.
Actually, who raised this question? Google Colab versus this Databricks?
I think what's this?
Me, Ankita.
Ankita, okay.
Okay. Any other questions? What is VPS? VPs, VMs or VPs?
View Prasad, कौन कौचो? VPS कौन? Okay, leave it.
No. Whoever has question, you can, because I am giving you time, right? You can ask me directly because every time I have to go and check it and I have to answer. It is the interactive one, na? It will not be interactive one. So you can ask me directly. Okay. Okay.
Sir?
Any other doubts? Yeah.
Sir, Databricks is we can say Databricks is a powerful environment, sir,
Yeah.
uh, to uh, to to analyze data and store data.
Yeah.
and working as a medium between data warehouse and data science, sir.
No, 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 no. First two thing is fine, not a medium. It's a platform, we can say. It's a platform where we are implementing. It's not a medium. Medium is something different, okay, through which you can do that. And data science also, that is also need a platform. So it's not a medium, but it's a platform where we can do such things, okay. All the basically data engineering ho ki data ingestion ho data science, it's a process. The process को हमें implement करचे by using Databricks platform, okay. A process को implement करिया पे we are using Databricks as a platform. So that is a Databricks. It's not a medium.
Medium means, sir, it is related to both data warehouse and that data science, sir.
No, it is not related. It is not related to. It is not
Not
related.
related.
No, no, it's not
Okay,
related.
okay. Fine,
Okay.
fine, sir.
Yeah.
Fine, sir.
Like basically we can take the like ଯେମିତି ମୁଁ କହିଲି the downstream data data warehousing ର output हो कि data engineering ର output हो that can be consumed by the data science means data warehousing ର output हमें data engineering team can consume, then they can do their work, then finally they will generate the final data, then they can simply final data will be consumed by the data science team, okay. But that is not related. Basically, there is no link between this and this because until you clean the data science team cannot work on that. Okay, that's why it is needed. Okay, so
Fine,
any
sir.
other
Fine.
doubts? Okay, yeah. Any other doubts?
सर हेलो
Yeah, yeah.
हाँ सर आमे जो इटा यूज करूछु तो
Mm-hmm.
इटा दीटा जगह प्रोसेस प्लस जो स्टोर होची ए दीटा जगह गोटे एनवायरनमेंट रे वर्क ता हो
Correct, correct. Okay. Yeah.
हाँ सेटा ही डाटाब्रिक्स आमे यूज
Databricks
करूछु
रे हाँ Databricks रे हमें यूज करछु मोस्टली यू रिमेंबर स्पार्क हमें यूज करछु Databricks से स्पार्क यूज होची डेटा प्रोसेसिंग ପାଇଁ माने एटा स्पार्क इंजन यूज करछु डेटा प्रोसेसिंग ପାଇଁ और डेल्टा लेक यूज होची डेटा स्टोरिंग ପାଇଁ. Okay.
थैंक यू
Yeah. Any other questions?
one more last question, sir.
Okay.
अभी Databricks में
Mm-hmm.
एसक्यूएल का क्या रोल है? एसक्यूएल का एक्चुअली मतलब कौन रोल कौन ଅଛି ସେ ମାନେ କେମିତି
Role
ସେଟା वर्क କରୁଛି କି କଣ ପାଇଁ ମାନେ
Databricks
କଣ ପାଇଁ ୟୁଜ କରିବୁ
कौन पे यूज କରିବାନି?
କଣ ପାଇଁ ୟୁଜ ମାନେ କେମିତି ତାର ରୋଲ ଅଛି ତା ଏସକ୍यूଏଲ ସହିତ ଆମର କିଛି କାମ ଅଛି କି ଏସକ୍यूଏଲ ସହିତ କିଛି ନିଡ୍ ଅଛି
yes yes
ଜାଣିବାକୁ
yes
ପଡିବ
yes ଅଛି ନା ଯେମିତି ମୁଁ କହିଲି Databricks ରେ ଆମେ three kind of data ଯେମିତି ଆମର ଅଛି structured semi structured unstructured data, so all kind of data we can process, okay, but SQL ଟା ଆମର କଣ only structured data, right? So whenever we have to deal with only structured data ତ ସେଠି ଆମେ SQL use କରିବା, and by using SQL query also we can use Spark, okay. SQL query भी में यूज करिकी आमे यूज करि परिया, बट द प्रॉब्लम इज एवरी टाइम यू विल नॉट गेट द सोर्स यदि आमे कथा होची कोन की टेबल दिन जानिथिबो दी SQL रे काम करछो ने जानिथिबो ऑलवेज इनपुट हमर कोन टेबल रहउची SQL माने ऑलवेज वी आर डीलिंग विथ टेबल, बट रियल टाइम रे तो आमे सबल डाटा में टेबल रे पाइबन ना बिकॉज़ हमरो बहुत सारा फाइल्स रे पाइबा CSV हो पार्के हो आब्रो बहुत सारा फाइल्स अछि. So how we are going to handle it in using how we are going to handle it those files गुड़ा तो हमें तो ताको रीड करिकी ताको कर परिया ना, so for that we need PySpark, but SQL role अच्छी definitely role अच्छी we when we are going to store the data in the form of table then we have to process it and बहुत सारा functionality होती है PySpark रे जोटा कि SQL रे नहीं, okay, basically data processing ପାଇଁ. So jaha bhi
understood
tame SQL रे पढ़िଛ that we are going to use in PySpark, okay, don't think about it, but the difference is you might be thinking like ଆମେ ताले SQL काहे use करछे काहे Databricks कौन पे use करते पैसा काहे खर्च करे, but the example I told you, what about the files when you are going to deal with the files, so in that case SQL will not work, right?
sir because that's unstructured or semi-structured data.
Yeah, correct, okay, that can be unstructured, can be that can be anything, okay. So ସେଇ ସବୁ case ରେ କେମିତି handle କରିବ, so in that case we need PySpark. And also
And
streaming data भी जानिथिबो जदी streaming data also we are using PySpark ଆମେ use करछे for regular data read करिया पे, okay. Okay, so ଆଉ କିଛି doubts ଅଛି or we can stop here, okay, we can start tomorrow with Python's basics and then we can move forward, okay.
Thank you, Jiten sir, for your time.
Okay, okay.